department, you have a line item in there for the water administrator. It's 8310.4020, $87,000. In the sewer, you have sewer administration, 8110.4020 for $97,000. Under sewer, you also have administration fee, 9780.000 $69,000.
Right, slow down for a sec.
Go back to the original.
Yeah, can you start from the get-go?
Okay, in the water department, 8310.4020.
Okay.
Water administrator.
Yep.
$87,000.
Okay.
Under sewer, 8110.4020. Sewer administrator, $97,000. Under sewer, 9780.0000. Administration fee. Total comes to $253,000. What is being done with $253,000 for administration of water and sewer?
I can speak first. As you can see from looking at it, the 97 isn't a new increase. It's actually staying flat for this current budget from the year before. I'd have to double check with Mike.
I asked the same question last year, and I got an answer that
what we talked about before, the interfund revenues, that's where it comes from. That's the line. They added up 87 and 97. That comes out to 181 or whatever. The transfer into the general fund. That's where it comes from. That's the expense that goes into the general fund for revenues.
What was that again?
What we discussed before.
The transfer.
If you look on the
When you discussed
revenue side,
Yeah.
in the
and
general
we've
fund.
taken that, whatever, 10% or something we're paying one of the DPW guys,
Mhm.
from the revenue side, we gotta get that money into the other account, and this is where that money's coming from.
A question from water and a question from...
So like in, under water administration, it's $87,000. Now, that really, so it really isn't administration?
Well, that's what they call it. In other words, it's administration to do all the work, all the employees.
Well, that's not, administration. Administration is administration and doing work on the lines of the plant.
Administering the services.
Administering the services, right?
Administrating the service, okay.
It's not to pay an administrator, it's administrating the service.
And then the administrative fee that you say is $69,000,
Mm-hmm.
that's the fee from the EFC that they charge us for the loan for the sewer plant. That's the administrative fee, the yearly fee.
That's a yearly fee. So wouldn't it be better to have a different identification for it then, maybe?
Call it differently, maybe.
Yeah, it needs a little more accurate
Well,
terminology.
it's down where the loans are, that's why. If you look down further, that's where it belongs.
On the increases to the employees, what's the percentage of increase that you gave?
4%.
How much?
4%.
4%? Is that 4% for everybody?
What do you mean, everybody?
Well,
Like us? The
4%?
trustees and the mayor didn't get it. No. So it's not for everybody.
Were there any employees that received more than 4%?
Promotions or different classifications of jobs, yeah, they probably would be.
Who would they be?
Offhand, they would know, it depends upon the position.
It would be for a different position though, right, John?
Well, we reclassify positions. So, yeah, some people would get more than 4%, yeah.
How about the heads of the departments?
Well, the police chief, how's that regulated? That goes
He
through...
gets the same, although he's not covered by the contract, it's always been tradition, because he's on the management side of the police, if you will. He gets whatever was in the contract for, patrol services and the like, which they average 4%.
And that's by state law.
That may be, but also...
By state law, he's gotta make more, percentage more than the high state
Yeah, and
employee.
it's always been a tradition, as far as I've always understood it, Rennie, that whatever is in the contract for the patrol service is percentage-wise from year to year, that's what he gets.
As far as the heads of the other departments, were all those increases 4%?
Well, you have the contract for the DPW
Yeah.
and Michael's salary, and the non-union employees all at 4%.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then, you know, there's length of service also, so.
What?
There's length of service,
There's longevity
raises, so it's gonna wind up, you're gonna wind up paying more than 4%, because some person during that time will get 4%, more than 4%.
Do the department heads get longevity increases?
Yes,
They don't. You mean for each year, or they get more, or how does it work with them?
Right, it's a step system.
it's a step
Okay.
per year for service, you know, your longevity, your salary goes up as you have more seniority.
Well, what would be a step increase for a department head then? Like, what would it roughly be?
Depends upon what
Same
they
as the
want.
contract, right? Same as the contract for patrols.
Whatever step they're in, they go to the next step.
What's it's all in the contract?
Yeah.
No, it's not all in the contract. The people are we negotiate with the people that are represented by units. That's contractual. The other, we decided to give them the same. That was a determination by the board. That's not contractual.
So, I mean, do we come out with roughly 4%, or is there?
I said that to you before. No, it's because it's going to wind up for more than 4% for people because of longevity.
Roughly any idea what the percentage increase would be?
Not a mathematician, I couldn't tell you.
They don't have, does anybody on the board know any of the increases?
Well, I think the answer is the information is ascertainable. If you don't, what any good lawyer would tell you is don't guess.
Yeah.
That's what I
It's a
said.
legitimate question, and I think you can answer when you have the information, but don't, and in an attempt to be helpful, don't fly by the seat of your pants, because you might say something that, you know, but obviously the information is easily ascertainable.
Is that something we could get maybe at the next meeting that you have concerning the budget?
We would probably ask Mr. Bernier to help.
Sure, absolutely.
Because obviously what we're talking about is very simple. The police department and the DPW have longevity steps, so when they contractually negotiate with us, as we did this last year and settled both their contracts, and they're receiving essentially a 4% raise, some of them are also getting a longevity step during that current year, not all of them. Maybe they're here 15 years, maybe they're here 10 years, whatever the steps are. So that would be in addition to their...
Yeah, because, right, look at it this way. The steps in the police contract, speaking of longevity only, are after 7 years, 11 years, 15 years, and then 19 is the last step, okay? So if in the middle of this year, someone jumped, or they got their 4% base increase, if they all of a sudden moved from step, they were in between, let's say they were 10 years right when we settled it, now they've moved to step 11. So they're getting their 4%, but they're also getting a slight bump because of the change in longevity, because they've now moved to another step. Am I explaining that clearly?
Yeah.
So that's why a particular individual could look slightly higher because of the change in where they are on the steps.
Under the, I think under the DPW, you have a heavy equipment operator that's, looks like there's an amount of about $100,000 plus. Is that for one individual or two people, or?
That's one person. There's more than one heavy equipment operator.
Yeah.
So what is it, probably for 2 people?
Probably two
At
people.
least two
Yes,
people,
but
yeah.
again, as David said, I would probably guess it was two people, but it's not one person, I can tell you that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Charles Donadio. I live at 9 Edgewood Road, Goshen. I just want to speak a second and then ask a question. I don't know if the question...
On the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
I have to run back and forth to the school meeting. You know, 3 years ago, I came here from Yonkers. I moved up here, bought a house. You know, I came up here with 3 kids for the school system and for the community. You know, the community-based, to me, was a good community to live in. I don't understand how, like that gentleman said before, how you could come across and deduct $25,000, which is almost a third, with a 30% decrease in the parks program, knowing that right across the street, the school board is eliminating a sports program. I just hope that you could reconsider, you know, reinstating some of that money back, so we do have something for the kids to go to. Also, I'd like to ask you a question. Out of $60,000, how much, this might have been answered already, how much comes from the town and how much do we put in out of that 60 so far?
The town puts in 60,